Hey everyone, Pastor Nick here from Trinity Kimberly Way, and I had a couple of statistics that I wanted to share with you. The first is this. The Barna Research Group recently found out that over a third of American adults have said that they've made a significant change in their life as a direct result of having a spiritual conversation with someone. And the way that Barna had defined a spiritual conversation is they said it's any conversation about faith or spirituality with anyone. Any conversation about faith or spirituality with anyone, and that includes just having a conversation about your doubts. Over a third of American adults said that having a conversation like that led to a significant change in their life. But here's the other thing that Barna found in that exact same study. They found that 75% of Christians in America had less than 10 spiritual conversations in the past year. Think about that. Any conversation about spirituality or faith or God with anyone, and yet we as Christians are having less than 10 of those conversations a year. I mean, we're talking about conversations like, what did you learn in the sermon on Sunday? Or what are you learning in your daily devotions as you sit around, the dinner table with your family? And what that showed me is that there's this rich harvest field, and yet we as Christians aren't stepping into it. Which is why this fall, as a church, we want to change the game when it comes to those numbers. Our fall series is called Speaking of Jesus, in which we're going to be learning together as a church how to become natural spiritual conversationalists, people who talk about matters of faith and life on a daily basis with the people around us. And as a part of that series, we are encouraging everyone to do a couple of things in order to get the most out of it. The first thing we're asking you to do is to join a small group. You see, every fall, all of our small groups together do a study that's wrapped around that weekend series. And this fall, we're going to have a bunch of small groups that are going to be learning side by side how it is to grow in our ability to be spiritual conversationalists. And these small groups meet in a variety of places throughout the week. Many of them are also meeting online, and we want you to get plugged into one of these communities. Number one, so that you can just get to know some other people at Trinity, but number two, so that you can grow together as we as a whole church learn how to have spiritual conversations. The second thing that you need to do is you need to pick up the book 42 Seconds by Carl Madaris. This book is going to serve as our devotional guide throughout the series. And as you can see, it's not a very long book. It's pretty short, easy to read. But we want to make sure that you have a copy on hand so that as we learn together, you have some tools that you can use to grow in your own ability to have conversations about faith and life. Now, I want to encourage you to go ahead and pick up a copy of this book right now. Seriously, go pick up a copy of it right now. Because you see, we want to make sure that you get your copy in time for the series to begin. And so you need to go online and pick up a copy. There are a variety of places you can do that. And you can pick up either a hard copy, or if you prefer Kindle or Nook or an ebook or even a PDF format, there are lots of different places where you can just download it right now just by purchasing it online. But if you need a physical copy, we want to make sure that you order it so that it arrives in time for you to join us in this series. So be sure to pick up a copy of 42 Seconds as soon as possible, maybe even in the next 42 seconds. The third thing that you're going to need to join us in this series is you need to pick up a copy of the Spiritual Conversation Curve. The Spiritual Conversation Curve is a teaching tool that we're going to be using throughout this series. And we have copies of this card available for you. If you come to one of our outdoor services the rest of the month of September, you can pick up a physical copy of this card when you grab your bulletin. But if you're not comfortable coming to one of our outdoor services or worshiping in person yet, there's a little link below this video where you can click on that and let us know that you'd like a copy of this card, and we will mail it to you. But you want to make sure that you have this, because this is going to be a teaching tool that we're using throughout the series, and it's going to come up in your small group conversations. So please be sure to pick up a copy of this card. So there you have it. We want you to get into a small group. We want you to pick up a copy of the book 42 Seconds, and we want to make sure that you grab a copy of the Spiritual Conversation Curve. Having these three things is going to help you get the most out of this series, and we look forward to kicking it all off on the weekend of October 3rd and 4th. We hope to see you there.